Hello everyone, let's start the session of Python. Here we come with the control flow statements. We have decision control statements, we have iterative statements. So for this session, we'll discuss about the decision control statements. So let's get started. So let's take a look to the content of this particular session. We'll cover these decision control statements, and decision control statements will cover simple if statement, will cover if else statements, then we will cover if elif statements and nested if else statements. So in this session, we'll cover the syntax, how to write these statements, and we'll cover how the control go one by one to which statement, how the flow goes to these statements, and then we'll check some of the examples. So let's get started. So for starting, for, so to start in a very clear way, we have to execute each and every statement. So we have to check by doing some practicals, by doing some small programs. So let's switch towards Google Colab. We need to just write down Google Colab in the URL and then just open the notebook in the Google Colab. After opening the notebook, we just write down the statements, whatever the statements I'm telling to. So first of all, we are discussing this decision control statements. So we are discussing the first type of decision control statement, that is simple if statement. So if simple if statements means we have to mention a condition, and that particular statement only executes when if the condition is true. So if the condition is true, then it will execute some statement. Otherwise, it will switch towards the outside of the code. You can see the flow chart, how it is executing. So first it will check the condition. So if the condition is yes, it will execute some of the statement inside that conditional if statement. And if it is not true, it will come uh, out of the code, or it will execute some statements. You can check over here what is the syntax for simple if. So for simple if, for simple if we use a keyword if, then we have to write the conditional statement followed by the colon. Colon will tell you that this is the beginning of the particular block. So it's not necessarily we need to put it at each and every line, end of the line of the code. We have to it after the blocks, after the functions, where we need to mention it that this is the block of the code of this particular statement, this particular block, or this particular function. So here is the way to write. Here is the syntax to write the if statement. So we have to mention the condition, and inside, if it is true, we have to mention some of the statements which we need to execute it. The important thing is indentation. So if uh, the statement lies under the if block, we have to mention certain kind of indentation, or you can say that the spaces. So if the statements doesn't fulfill that particular set of spaces, it means that particular statement is not inside that particular block. So you can see over here, these statements belongs to this if condition, and this statement, last statement, this is written over there as a parallel of if condition. So it's outside of this if statement block. So let's take a look to a simple example. So this is the example where we have to input the age of a person, and this system will tell you whether the person is adult or not. So we have to input the age. So the age is of int type, integer type, and we need to typecast it into the integer. So see here, one function which is new for you is the input function. So input is the function, inbuilt function of a Python that will take the input from the user. So by default, whatever the input it is taking from the user, it is of string type. and we need to convert it into the integer as the value we are chasing is the integer one. So this is a kind of, we call it as typecasting. So here we'll compare, we have to mention the condition like the age is greater than 18, greater than or equal to 18 or not. If it is greater than equal to 18, it will print as adult, and the negative contribution is not mentioned over there. So that means it will directly come out of the end line. So it will print your condition is false and you're outside if block. So let's execute it. Let's input it here, age 8. So it will analyze it. It will not fall in this particular condition. So it jumped to the last statement and give me this output. Let's take the positive value. Let's take the value 19. So if the condition is 19, this condition is fulfilled. This will print you are an adult, and after that, it will print the last name also. So I think it's clear to you. Let's move towards the next type of these statement. We call it as if-else statements. So if-else statement means we have mentioned some statement inside the if condition, if the condition is true, and we have also mentioned some of the statements inside the else part, means in the negative part also. So here you can see this flow chart. Here they have mentioned the conditional expression. If it is true, it will execute certain statements or set of statements, and if it is false, again it executes some other set of statements. In this way, it executes. Now look at the syntax. How we are going to write the syntax for if else statement. So if condition means if the condition is true, it will mention some of the statement inside this block. And then if uh, we don't if this particular statement is not true, so we have to mention the negative part or the else part. We have to mention here else, then colon, and we have to mention the statements which we need to execute if the particular expression is false too. So this is the way we need to write this if else statement. Now let's take a look to the example. You can see over here, this is the example of checking whether the student is pass or a fail in a particular subject. So what it will give to the system to check whether he or she is passed or failed. He or she will enter the marks. So if the marks is less than 30, it means the student fails, and if it is greater than or equals to 30, it means the student passed the exam. So again, we need to mention the input. So input is marks. So let's take a look. Let's mention over float over here. So it might be possible that marks come into the decimal value. So I have just converted into the float. So whatever the marks we have inputted it will check the condition. To condition, it will check whether it is greater than or equals to 30, and else part, it will automatically take it as less than 30. Okay, so let's execute it. So if it is, let's marks is 87, it will check the condition and lie in the positive, means the positive part of if, this if block. So it is saying here you passed the exam. It has skipped this else part and directly jumped towards the print statement, last print statement. Means it is coming out of the this control statement. Now let's take one more example where we are going to enter some other values, let's say 16. So it means it will not go towards this part, if part. It will directly jump to the else part. It will say, sorry, you failed, better luck next time, and then jump to the last statement. Okay, I think it is clear to you how to use if-else statements. Now the next is if-elif statements. It means when you have number of conditions. In which part? In else part. Means when else part means when the particular condition doesn't fulfill. Means uh, you are coming towards the else part, and in else part again you are going to check some other condition, and if that condition again gives you false result, Again, you're going to check some other condition. Okay, so in this way, you can check this diagram. It says you the same thing. If the condition is true, it will execute and come to the output. And if it is false, it will check some other condition. Again, if it is true, it will come to the output. If it is false, it is again checking the condition and condition and come up with the value. Let's take a simple example. We are going to some mall and you want to buy some t-shirt. You enter into some showroom, into the first showroom. There you didn't find a t-shirt of your size. So then when you didn't find it, it means if you find it, you buy it and you come out of the mall. If you didn't find it, means the function is false. You go towards the next showroom. Okay. So again, you are going to check text condition whether the t-shirt is there available there or not. The t-shirt is available, you buy it and come out of the showroom and come out of the mall. It is not there. Again, you switch towards the other showroom. So this is the way your if-elif condition executed. So you can check the syntax over here. You can see red arrow shows you false statements, or green signal show you positive statement, or if the condition is true. So if the condition is true, it jump inside the if statement, it executes the statement, come out of the body or come out of the program. And if it is false, it will jump towards the next step condition. So you can see over here, it might be clear to you. Now, let's take a look to a simple example. And this example is saying that if it is positive and it is a positive number, you just classify it positive. Then you check if it is not positive, you check whether it is negative. So you check if it is negative, mention it negative. Again, if it is not even negative, you have to check again whether it is zero. If it is zero, you mention it zero. So for that thing, you need a number. Number can be an integer or a float number. We have taken here as a float value. It will check whether the number is greater than zero. If it is greater than zero, it is saying it is positive. And let's input the number. It is, let's say, 89. It is saying that the number is positive. Let's take a look. If I say the number is minus 99. If I say minus 99 process it will check the first condition. It's not true. It will check the elif condition. If it is true, it gives you the output and jump toward the last statement. Okay. Now, if I execute it one more time, and if I say zero, it means first condition is negative. Second condition is also negative. It means lastly it falls into the else part. So if I say zero, it prints in this way. I hope it is clear to you. It's a very simplest part of the Python. Let's next move towards the nested if else. So this is the flow chart for nested if else. I start with some conditions. So if I got if it's true, the condition is true, again I'm going to check some other condition for true and false. If it is false, again I'm going to check some other condition as true and false. So it is saying that if inside some other if. So this is called nested if. So this is the statement expressions, or you can say that the syntax. We mentioned the conditional statement in if. If it is true, again there is one more if else set of if else condition over there. If it is false, I have one more set of if else conditions or if else block over there. So this is the way we have to write inside nested if else. Let's move towards the example to make it more clear to you. It's a simple example, or it's a simple program where we need to determine whether the what's the product category on the basis of their price and availability. So for that, actually it depends on two things, or the two variable. One is price or availability. Availability. So we have to take two inputs. One is price. Price should be in the float, and availability, whether it is available or not, it should be in the string value. So I've already discussed what is this float, what is this input, and this availability, and either the user have to enter either yes or no. So it will check the first condition whether the product is available. If the product is available, then we will categorize it into the low cost, mid range, or high end. Otherwise, we can mention it that it is not available. So if the availability dot lower is no, we can directly switch to a else part and will print this product is currently out of stock. So we will enter into this part only when the availability dot lower is yes. Okay. So if it is yes, we are going to again check on the price, whether the price is less than 50 or it's less than 100 or it's other than some other value. So if it is less than equals to 50, it is of low cost. If it is less than or equals to 100, it is of mid-range, else it's of high-end category. So uh, uh, whatever the category of the particular price we have, it will print over here. So let's take an example, execute. First, it is asking me about the price. I said 700. So if second, it is asking me whether it is in stock or not. So if I say no, it's not there. So it will not go inside this particular block because if I say availability dot lower is not equals to yes, it means it will switch towards the else part and it will execute this particular statement. Okay, now let's execute it one more time. I have mentioned here 90. Okay, and I say availability is yes. So if it is yes, it will first into this block. Inside this block, we have number of conditions. We'll check the condition for price. If it is less than equals to 50, no, it is not less than equals to 50, then yes, it will switch towards this LF part. Yes, it is less than or equals to 100. It means it has assigned the mid-range value into the category. So after assigning this value, it will switch towards the last statement of this if condition, which is the product is a category. Whatever the category we uh, assigned into the category, which is mid-range, it is printed over here, product in stock. So basically, this is the pattern of pattern we used for formatting. If you want to write a string in a particular format, we just mention if outside the string, and inside the string, if I want to write the value of this particular category over here, either it is of mid-range, low cost, or high end, according to the input I have given, it will type that particular value over here. So keep in mind, we have to mention the variable name inside the curly brackets, then it will print the value. So we executed already. It's 90, and then I have mentioned the availability is yes. It showed me this product is a mid-range product in stock. Okay, so I have mentioned category here also and here also. So both sides it print the value of category, which is mid-range. So if I say, let's execute it one more time. If I say 8, and if I say yes, so it give me the output. This product is a low cost product in stock. And then I printed low cost one more time. I think it's clear to you. And in this session, we have covered almost all the things. If you want to study in depth, you can go through these links. Python.org documentation, then tutorials in Python.org. Then you can go through DevDocs website where you got each and everything in depth about the Python. Thank you for watching. We'll meet you again with the next session. Thank you.